Well, we're back. Took a couple of weeks off. 1 week I was really feeling pretty bad, and I didn't think I was going to do much of a show. And we don't have sponsors that we have to deal with. We're just a little show we do because to try to help out. So, and last week I got busy doing something, and at 10:30 I realized that it was 10:30. And I noticed, Al, you'd got on Skype about that time, or probably before, but that's when I noticed. But I just blew it off. I still didn't feel very good. My leg was hurting so damn bad that night. And I think I laid down and fell asleep shortly after that. But anyway, we're back tonight, and hopefully Mike will be joining in here a little bit. Al's with me tonight. And, there is a whole lot of crap going on. I think most of us that pay attention to politics and care about the Second Amendment or know about that. We may talk about it, but I'm not really interested in the financial stuff going on. I mean, it is important. I don't know where they're going with it. I think they're going to sell us out, the Republicans, and do something stupid. But what I really want to talk about tonight, I think we'll start out with, what last night, and I've talked about something like this in the past, and other things have been done like this in the past, but in the past I've talked about, some kind of demonstration to get some attention. Last night a friend of mine called, and we started talking about, he's buying more guns and more ammo, which is fine. I've got lots of guns, I've got lots of ammo. But if they come to confiscate, we've lost. We've dropped the ball. And he was saying, I said, maybe if we could just get 2 or 3 million people up to Washington, D.C. and shut the goddamn place down, we'll get some attention. They'll know we're serious. And maybe they'd back off. Because I think they're serious about doing something this time. Because they just keep pushing. A lot of these shootings are backed by the government, orchestrated by the government. This last one, I don't know if it was orchestrated by the government, but they have all these crazy people out there on drugs that they know that the drugs are going to make them have a good chance at making a lot of people act very violently, but that's okay. They don't care.
Go
ahead.
There were two, the NBC had a news story about 2 other people that were at the scene with weapons, and they're asking what happened to them because they didn't get arrested. So I would say this one was probably a false flag.
And I wouldn't doubt it, too, because I heard earlier, or yesterday, maybe the day before, that Bushmaster rifle never left the car. Did never take it inside. And there was 4 pistols. Now, maybe he took in 4 pistols, but 4 pistols to me looks like there was more than one person involved.
Right.
All right.
Bushmaster never left the car.
That's what I heard. Bushmaster never left the car.
So they're hollering assault weapons, when it wasn't even used.
Right. But, for them it doesn't matter because they want to come after the pistols anyway. They want to come after military type weapons, whether it be semi-auto, full auto, that doesn't matter. They want anything that's got clips in it. Shotguns that have more than, 1 round. If it's got a clip or tube in it, they want to get rid of those. Hunting rifles that hold more than one round. They want to come after all of them. And they'll probably come after more after that. But they've already, why not, was it Dianne Feinstein? She says she wants them all. And basically all they want is to leave you with is, maybe like they do in England where you can go hunting or sport shooting, but you have to keep them locked up in a protected area like a gun range or something, and that's the only time you can go get them. But then they could just turn around, since they know where all the guns are, they just shut those places down and come get the guns. Those are gone too then.
Well, I have a solution to your million-man march.
Well, I think we need 3 or 4 million, but anyway, go ahead.
I think we need to go after our state legislation to pass a bill that will arrest and detain any official trying to enforce a law that's repugnant to the Constitution.
Now, that's not a new idea, is it? There's already people looking at that?
I don't know if there's anybody looking at it. I know that there are laws and bills being done that will prosecute and arrest any official trying to enforce like the Obamacare. But I'd say we take it even further. I'd say we go after anybody that tries to enforce a law that is repugnant to the Constitution, or that's obviously, for instance, any law that would violate the Second Amendment.
Or first or third
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like that idea, but I wasn't just going to, and we can come back to that. I wasn't just meaning to go up, okay, let me go on with this, and then we'll come back, go through the rest of it. I was sitting here, and I was talking to him, and I said, people are just sitting back and not doing a damn thing. They're so involved with their lives. If you tell somebody we need to go do this, they'll say, well, I can't afford it, because that's what he did. He goes, I can't afford to go. I guess I could afford to fly up there, but it costs a lot of money. And I'm going, I think flying up there is fine if you can afford it. But, do it like they did that one not too long ago where you drive up there, you make a big deal out of the traveling up there. If somebody wants to participate but can't go because they're too sick, too old, too whatever, they can help pitch in money. So the group of guys or girls or whatever to help pay for gas or food to get up there. But it's not just gun control. I mean, that would be the main focus. But, gun control, put term limits in place, and maybe a couple of, other things that are top of the list type deal. But show up in force. And I don't mean go up there and get a permit to show up and do, anything. Just show up, even though they'll know you're coming. All the rats will run off in their little holes and hide, but they'll know we're there. Just shut D.C. down. Every road coming in and out, because if you get 2 or 3 million people, every road's going to be crowded and nobody's coming in or out anyway. But, make them understand that we mean this. And at the same time that's going on, you could, like last time, you could have groups getting together in the major cities and doing the protests there, too, to show support for the ones that are going up to D.C. Now, like he was saying, well, that costs a lot of money to go do something like that. You think of how much it would cost for diesel and for a room. I said, well, there's not going to be most of the rooms would be gone. We would probably need somebody that had a truck and a camper. They could, pull them behind camper and get, maybe 4 people together per vehicle and share driving, share expenses. And I said, you've got a whole bunch of food sitting there for emergency use. Take some of that out if you're worried about it. And I said, I go, you will go out at the blink of an eye and buy a $700, $1,000 rifle, and it's nothing. But you're balking over spending $500, maybe $1,000, to go up and do something that's important to protect your right to own those guns. Because I go, you're talking about buying more guns and hiding them. Well, if we have to hide them, we've been sitting on our butts, and we haven't been doing what the right thing is. We have dropped the ball. We're supposed to be protecting the Constitution. You can't leave up to politicians the Constitution because they're all power hungry and they don't give a damn about the Constitution. They would throw the Constitution out, most of them, if it meant they keep their job. And I don't mean just the left, I mean the right too. I don't trust any of them right now because I don't hardly hear any of them standing up and just protesting this treasonous, traitorous act that they're trying to do on the Second Amendment. So, I'm ranting and raving for a little while about all this. I'm saying people won't give up a game, a football game, a basketball game, anything. Oh, well, I don't have time to do that. Bullshit. You do have time for something that's important. When you start thinking about they may come and get your guns and they may kill you, or you may have to kill them to keep them. That's not worth spending $500, maybe $1,000 to go to D.C. and protest? Really? It's not worth it. And by the time I was finished, he was going, you know something, you made a lot of sense. And today he called me and go, I'm all in. I've got 100 gallons of diesel here I'll put in. I got some food I'll put in. I'll supply the truck and the trailer. They'll pitch in whatever you want. A friend of mine's all in already. He'll supply 100 gallons of diesel. He'll supply his own food. And I'm going, Jim, we were just talking about it. You know, throwing the idea around about it. You know, but yeah, but I think you're right. We need to do something. Well, okay, I'll start talking to people. So that's part of what I'm doing tonight. I'll start talking to people because I got a little show. You know, Al, you, me, Michael, we don't reach that many people. I'll start talking about it. I'll maybe start talking about it on Facebook, on Twitter, maybe try to get it on some of the TV shows. Maybe some of the other guys will have time to try to get them, you know, on Alex Jones or whatever, and start talking about it and see if somebody with some oomph can, you know, put some muscle behind it and get something going. I don't know what's going to happen from here. But after talking about it and ranting and raving about it, I didn't have much choice after that, even though all I really meant was let's talk about it. But, you know, I think I'm right. We got to do something. We can't sit back and just whine about it because that's all most people do is whine. I bet you most of the people that own guns that want the Second Amendment protected haven't even called their representatives. And I bet a lot of them don't even know who they are. But yet they'll rant and rave about it, about how terrible it is. But they'll be out playing golf. You start talking to them about it. I talked to 2 guys today, and, well, I can't go. But I could give some money to go. Well, that's cool. I know that's would be a lot of the way it is. What? I thought I heard something.
Do you think any of my representatives would care? Because they're all Democrats.
Oh, there Michael is in.
I mean, they're going to call. I'm going to call, and they're going to know I'm a Republican. They're going to say, well, you didn't vote for me anyhow, so.
Yeah, that's true. But that's why I'm saying.
I could always call some other state.
I don't really think it's going to make much difference. It did.
I don't either.
It did.
I mean, I shouldn't feel that way, but.
I really think it did last time. I think the last time this happened, and they started pushing for it, there was so many phone calls to so many of them that, you know, and some of the Democrats are kind of like borderline where they, as far as how they got voted in, they've got a lot of people that would maybe vote against them, and then maybe they would listen. But it seemed to work last time. But I think this time you would have to even overwhelm them even more than last time because they are pushing hard this time. But that's one of the reasons I was starting to talk about. I think this time we have to show them that we're serious. But not only about the guns. I mean, we need to tell them, you know, look, we're sick and tired of y'all. Y'all work for us. We don't work for you. We're not your slaves. You are public servants. You're not our leaders. And I'm sick and tired of people up there being referred to as leaders. They are not our leaders. They're our elected servants. They're supposed to take care of, protect the Constitution, not tear it down. They're supposed to protect us. And they can't protect us all the time. That's why they should not be talking about taking our guns. Because then you can't protect your own self. And if there would have been somebody in that school armed, there'd have been a good chance that it wouldn't go that far. Maybe somebody would have died, but maybe not that many. Who really knows what would have happened? And on that, you know, schools kill kids. Maybe we ought to get rid of the schools. If they wouldn't have been in that school, they wouldn't be dead. But that's just as ridiculous as getting rid of guns. Okay, I ran out of raves. Anybody want to say anything?
Well, the reason I don't know if that would do any good going there because I think that our government has been basically taken over by the globalists because all you got to do is look at what, you know, the way Obama's been. You know, he went to the Congress and told them that they didn't declare war anymore. You know, he took orders from the UN. And
well, we get enough people to show them they didn't.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they had any power at all, they would have put a stop in that. They would have called for an impeachment, because that is so. I mean, that basically, takes their. I mean, that takes all their power away. Now he's manipulating them around to get the purse strings from them, and once that happens, they'll be totally impotent at that point.
After that, they might as well just go home and not just keep.
Exactly. So I guess what I'm saying is,
you're saying that it's time. The only way to resolve this is a revolution.
Either a revolution or, short of that, going and getting the states to pass legislation that basically nullifies everything that's coming out of there, which is what the 10th Amendment group, is doing. And that's why I like the idea of going after, if we had 1 million people show up in Austin.
Well, maybe that's a place to start.
Yeah,
have any idea how many millions of people we have in Texas? I've got 3 or 4 million right here in San Antonio area.
Well, I know, but let's say we had a few million show up down in Austin and demand that they reset the Constitution, if you want to call it that, or they pass legislation that enforces the Constitution and that it notifies the feds that we will not, that we will arrest and detain any official or, that's trying to enforce an unconstitutional law, such as gun confiscation or forcing us to register guns, any of the stuff that they're going to come out with.
What group is that you said was pushing for that?
The 10th Amendment. Well, they're not pushing for that. They're going after they're the ones that are behind the nullifying of Obamacare and stuff like that. But I think we need to go even further than that. I mean, if we could get one legislation in, just pass one bill that says that we will prosecute any official that attempts to, enforce a unconstitutional law, that would take care of all of it. You would need to have an anti-Obamacare, because anything.
Right, and if you could get it done here, maybe other states would follow.
Right.
Or maybe other states would start looking into starting their own groups.
Well,
we're trying to push for it.
Well, for instance, South Carolina just passed a law that any state official that tries to enforce Obamacare is guilty of a misdemeanor with $500 and up to 5 years in jail. Any federal person that tries to enforce Obamacare is subject to up to $1,000 fine and 10 years in prison.
Well, maybe that would be a more achievable goal to start pushing for something like that.
Sure, I think going to Austin would be a lot more achievable than going to Washington, because I think it would do a lot more, because it's really nothing's going to happen in Washington. It's down to the states basically saying, "Hey, you've done enough," and the states push them back.
Well, Mike, it sounded like you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say that I think it is time. I think it's probably our best route is for us to as far as
let the states
getting back on track with the Constitution in general is the states pushing their rights.
Well, they're the ones that I think you're right, really, because it'd be easier for people to go to someplace in their own state. If we could get lots of states to do it, well, the federal government, they're not supposed to be in charge of what we do anyway. It's supposed to be the states.
I don't think you need to get a lot of states doing it. I mean, you get a handful of states doing some things that are, aggressive like that can make a big impact.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. I know, Mike, you're in another state, but I'm just putting this out there, and it's more to Al because I'm in Texas and we would do this, but I mean, it wouldn't stop you from maybe trying to do something up there and us trying to help you. But let me ask y'all this. because one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this tonight was to see if there was some other ideas. You know, just because I come up with an idea and I rant and rave about it doesn't mean it's the best solution. And the more Al talked about this, I like it. I think it'd be a lot easier to organize state by state. And you wouldn't have any one group like trying to lead the whole thing. You have a whole, maybe 50 different states with 50 different organizations trying to push for it, with maybe a lot of organizations affiliated with those, grassroots, basically is what I'm trying to say, real grassroots. And it would be a less chance of maybe being taken over. Because I think the Tea Party's pretty much been taken over by other people, and I don't think they're doing much anymore. But I kind of like that idea. Now, so the question is, Al, would you and Mike, would you put time in to push something like this if you thought it would help?
Well, how would we approach it?
I'll throw out some guidelines. First would be a way to, you'd have to come up with a name of what it might be. XYZ Texas, XYZ Virginia, or whoever lives, they could do one for their own state. But we could put a website together, and I think we know how to do that, and find the name, a .org or whatever, and outline what we were trying to do to get things started, so some people have a place to go and get more information and send other people too. So first thing would be to come up with a name, and then it would be trying to call on the talk shows, local talk shows, get on some of the chat rooms in some of the local talk shows, try to get through to some of the bigger talk show hosts, Alex Jones and so on and so forth. Try to get some time to get into their shows and talk about it and see it, and just see if it takes off. Twitter, talk on Twitter, talk on Facebook, and just see if it takes off.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
And I would too. Now, like I said, we're just a small little group, 3 guys. We don't have a whole bunch of people, but maybe we could get something done if we got enough information out there, enough people talking about it between us, that maybe we get lucky and somebody big would say, I like that idea. So let's go for it. Let's talk about it on their show. Some of these things have been started by less than us. There was one here in San Antonio where there was a lady that was fed up with stuff, and she, I can't think of her name, but she was sick and tired of a bunch of the crap happening with the highways and stuff, and the way they were doing it, toll roads and things, and that's where she started. She did it all by herself, and she just started calling up the local talk shows. The next thing you know, she's a bigwig, and she finally said, I never meant to get this big. I didn't mean to get this involved. And after years of being involved and getting the organization going and getting things, she said, I got to back out of here for a while. I mean, I got a family. I'm still going to be involved, but I'm not going to be involved like she was. She was on all the time, all over the place, talking about things. And she did a lot of research, keeping up with, who was pulling what kind of crap in Austin with what kind of toll roads and, But anyway, I mean, she just never even intended to get that big, but she did. I don't know if we're big enough, but I'm fed up with this crap, and I'm seriously think that if we wait and sit and don't do anything, it's going to come down to shooting to keep our guns.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's going to, even if the states do what they're doing, the feds are going to continue, the government's going to continue the route it's on, which is a one world government.
Yeah, but maybe it's a start. Just maybe I'm wishful thinking, but maybe it's a start. If you start getting a lot of states doing something like this and telling the feds to keep out, it'll back down on their power. maybe then people will start saying, well, you know something, maybe we ought to put term limits in. Maybe we ought to do this. Maybe we ought to do that. I don't know. But I can't sit here and do nothing. I'm just so fed up with this crap. And I don't want to see all these people that are going to die if we keep going this way, because there's going to be, sooner or later, I do not believe that this country is going to, a lot of people in this country are going to lay down their guns like they did in Australia and England. They just don't have the background we've got. And you know, the history of this country is we will put up with a lot. But when you step on our toes too hard, we will punch you in the face.
Yeah.
They underestimate us all the time. And when we get sick and tired of something, we will fight back. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that will fight back. And it means a lot of people are going to die on both sides. And I don't want to see that. And I don't want to be shot, and I don't want to kill somebody if I don't have to.
Yeah. Well, you need to check out the 10thamendmentcenter.com.
All right, let me find my pen. Oh, shit. That's right. I know I had one that was right a while ago. I'll just write it. Oh, there it is. 10thamendmentcenter.com. 10th.
TENTH. It's spelled out.
God.
They have podcasts, and the thing about these guys, they're the ones that wrote the Nullify Obamacare. I mean, they write bills, and they got some sharp people there. That's for sure.
Well, I've also got a friend. Well, the same friend I was talking about a while ago. He has some connections with somebody that owns several billboards here in San Antonio along 35. He said he wouldn't doubt that he could get a good deal on something like that, if not free. If the guy had one that was open, maybe it would be a way to put something up there. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but, he's trying. I mean, he's coming up with ideas. I can't tell him.
Well, listen to this. Here's an article on there. It says, will Texas nullify both NDAA and TSA? The Texas legislature will take up two bills designed to protect basic civil liberties in the Lone Star State during the 2013 legislative session. On Monday morning, Representative David Simpson pre-filed the Texas Travel Freedom Act, House Bill 80. If passed, the law would make it a criminal act to intentionally touch the anus, breast, buttocks, or sexual organs.
Did you hear about that? Where this Texas trooper put her hand up?
Yeah, they're toast
for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And then the state troopers said there was nothing wrong with doing that, and for a few days, and then they backed off of it and said that was wrong.
Well, this law would take care of that, But anyway, that might be a guy to contact. If he's doing this, he might be a guy to contact for possibly some of these nullification bills that the 10th Amendment group. But check out that site and go through it and look at all what they're doing with their nullification stuff. And nullification definitely works. I mean, I'll give you an example of nullification in that sanctuary cities. That's the liberals' way of doing nullification.
Mm-hmm. Well, San Antonio's a sanctuary city, though they won't admit to it.
I know, but that's nullification. That's telling them
just ignore the law.
They're ignoring the government.
Well, now to get onto something that goes along with gun control. We have talked about this before about buying guns and hiding them, and you mentioned it a while ago. Now, I've told y'all ways of hiding your guns that I know of that I think is pretty good. PVC pipe, seal it up real good, bury it. Use some techniques to make sure that if they use metal detector, it'd be kind of hard for them to tell because, putting underneath a cement slab with rebar in it, someplace not at your home. metal posts for fences. Go dig one up, put it underneath there, put it back in. Things like that. And there's a lot of other things you can do. You just use your mind to think about it. But you were talking about, where you're at and about doing something like that. And I have that. But and I'm not going to stop doing that. I mean, they're there. That's where they're going to stay. But if we let this go through, you won't be able to have a gun in your house. You will have to hide them. Because they're going to come to your house going, you have a registered gun, and they're going to come looking for it. If you say, I sold it, they're going to go through your house. And they're going to go into your safe or wherever, and so you better not have it on your property.
Well, the first thing...
Go ahead.
Yeah, the first thing, I'm not going to register any guns. You can't register. That's the first step.
Yeah, but what they got to do is go to the gun dealers and go through the records. And they can do that.
Well, no.
They're not supposed to do that, but they will.
Well, no. Those background check records that they have doesn't tell them what gun you have.
No, but they can go to who made that phone call to get it verified, and then they will go check their records.
No, I talked to a guy when I bought my, what did I buy? One of my guns, and he thought it was, he was totally against the background check, the whole thing. He was a strict constitutionalist, and I asked him about that, and he said they don't know what kind of gun you bought. They have no way of figuring it out. Only thing that they have is a background check that in other words, he files the background check, and it doesn't say what kind of gun you bought or anything. They could say, okay, there's 5 background checks, there's 5 pages or 5 papers that were, 5 different background checks, so you must have 5 different guns. But they don't know what kind of gun you have. And
but that person you bought those guns from have records on what gun you bought? They do.
Not if you paid cash.
No, they have a file with what gun you bought. They know what serial number it was and what it was.
Well, yeah, like that they do. But I think that, if it came down to that, that's fine. If that's the case, then they don't need me to register my gun.
That's why I buy most of my guns.
First of all, I'm not going to register a gun. I'm not going to go get registering guns. I'm not going to get fingerprinted. And I don't think anybody's going to. They can take a flying leap. I don't see anywhere in the Constitution where they have the authority to do that, so therefore I'm not going to give them that authority.
Right, but we know that there's a good possibility that won't stop them.
Well, bring it on,
That's what I mean. That's kind of where I'm going with this. Once we start hiding our guns, once we start going that round, and once they pass something and say, we're going to come get your guns, or you have to register them, because you know what's going to happen. If you register them, they'll know you got them, they'll come get them, or they'll just take them right then.
Well, they've already done it. Every time they've done gun registration, they came back. They did it in England and they did it in Australia. And they came back and took the guns after they found out what all everybody had.
Right, and you can't have guns in Mexico, so how come there's 40,000 people, or whatever the number is, that are died from guns?
Exactly. Well,
Australia's crime rate went up. England's crime rate went up. All of them.
Okay, but here's the problem they got. Who are they going to send to get these guns?
They have assholes that will do it. There's assholes out there that will do anything for money.
I understand, but it's going to take a lot of them.
That's right. But China is saying, we'll help you.
Yeah, they love hiring people.
China says, we will help you. That's why they want this treaty. Obama wants this treaty done. And China said, we will help you confiscate those guns. And if you don't believe it, for those of y'all that are listening to this later, go look it up. Do your own research. I don't usually come in here with a whole bunch of different places you can go find things. You have to do your own research. If you don't care enough to go do your own research, I can't help you anyway. And what I'm telling you, you shouldn't even be listening, because I say, and when I see something a certain way, I say it. I usually research it, unless I've already researched it in the past or it's my opinion. I will, point you in the right direction. And if you want to research it for yourself, because just don't take my word for it. I'm not 100% right all the time. I'm 100% right on my opinion as far as I'm concerned. But go figure it out. Because if it's not important enough for that, you're just wasting everybody's time anyway. So I just think if we're already kind of lost, because we've been sitting on our butts doing nothing, thinking, they won't do that, they won't do that. Well, look what they've already done. Obamacare, telling us that we don't, that Obama says he's the one that decides that our Congress and them don't have any decisions on wars anymore. What's happened already? So if that can happen, why not this? I'm kind of getting frustrated here. I'm trying not to get, go on a rant again, because I am worked up. I think right now I'm more worked up than I've been in a long time in the show, if I ever this worked up. I just, my kids are gone. I don't have to protect them. I have a little extra money and extra time. And I would rather be the one that goes out and fights this battle than my kids later. So, Okay, now, Dianne Feinstein, there's a petition out there to try her for treason for her attack on the Second Amendment. Of course, it won't get anywhere, but, seeing what the numbers will, and, maybe that would go somewhere, but I just don't doubt it. I just figured even if it got through, President Obama would pardon her at the end of it, or protect her. But it's a fun, petition to see what kind of numbers would come out of it. So that's out there. I already went over the Chinese. We were talking, stockpiling ammo and everything. I'm going through my notes here. Oh, Piers Morgan. Anybody know who that is?
Sure.
The asshole from England. There's also a petition out there to not only kick him out of the country, but put him in jail for...
Well, he supports a ban on guns?
Yeah. Piers Morgan. And he's wanted in England. But he's already admitted he's a elitist, English elitist, and that they want to take over. They want the guns gone. There's a petition out there to do a number on him.
Well, English have wanted our guns gone for hundreds of years. So,
but he left England. Mike, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I had that little problem here. I got to add Al back this other way.
It's government again.
Yeah.
Shutting you down.
Al, you back?
Yeah.
Okay. You came back in on your tweeter, but this is the talk show tweeter. I added you back the other way, so I had to come back. Anyway. Go ahead.
No, the reason I heard some cops talking about this on the Jones show, and majority of the cops are not going to do this. And when anybody else comes in trying to do this, they're actually going to, resist it pretty much. I mean, it will start a war if they start coming around trying to take guns.
Yeah, and I think that's what they want. That's why we need to stop it before that.
I know that's what they want. And
but how they did it in Katrina? I mean, that's just a smaller.
Actually, it turns out I did some research in it. that was a small group that did it. The majority of the military didn't.
I knew that.
A lot of them refused to do it.
Yeah.
And actually, what that did is that sort of
woke them up.
It woke everybody up to that. And matter of fact, the Texas has passed a law that makes it illegal for gun confiscation since then.
Yeah, but what did they do about it? Did they go put anybody in jail? Did they get their guns back?
Well,
a lot of them didn't get their guns back.
Some of them did, and a few people did go to jail, but not for...
Every one of those that went into a house and took a gun needs to go to jail.
Oh, I know. I agree.
I don't care if they were under orders or not. They knew it was unconstitutional, and they should be in jail for it.
What's the point if they passed a law? It's already illegal. I mean, they can't just pass a law saying something that's legal.
That's
legal.
That's the politicians trying to make it look like
that's
they're
my
doing
point.
something.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen again.
No. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm just saying that I just think that whenever if they do try to go around and physically, I think they're going to do it more stealthy. They're going to probably target at people, and if you get stopped.
Yeah, they're not going to try to catch you where you can shoot back. They're going to try to catch you out in the open someplace, coming out of a store, or pull you over on the side of the road where you can still shoot back then, but they know where you work. You come out not expecting anything, and they're waiting for you. They'll find where you shop, whatever.
Yeah, well, like I got a concealed carry, and if the state has taken steps to keep that. I know private entities can't get a hold of the list of concealed carries here, but who's to say the government couldn't do it?
That's what I was getting ready to say. That doesn't mean the government won't be able to do it.
No.
Because it's in a computer file someplace.
Yeah.
It's not just a piece of paper hanging around where they have to break into an office to get it.
No. I just know that we got some real troubled times ahead.
And that's one of the reasons I'm getting so worked up, and I think it's time to start doing something. Because I'm guilty of bad roads, man. I'm guilty. I mean, like I was ranting and raving, like I told you a while ago when I was ranting and raving to Jim last night. I'm guilty of it too. I'm no better than anybody else. I haven't been doing what I could have been doing and should have been doing for months, if not years now. I should have. I knew the way things were going, they were going wrong. I was sitting there going, the government won't let that happen. And I had my blinders on. I wasn't paying attention. I was just trying to raise my family and be peaceful and, enjoy my life. But every once in a while, things happen in history, and you got to stand up and do what's right. And maybe we don't like it, but where would we be without all those in the past that did stand up and do something? If they all sat back and did nothing, we wouldn't even have the kind of life we have now.
Right.
Maybe it puts us in some really bad times, but it damn sure won't be as bad as what they wanted to put us into, because they want to kill us all.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they don't want to kill us; they want to kill our spirit. I mean,
that's just the same to me.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, they do believe in a 95% reduction of the population.
That too. That's not really what I meant, but yes, they do. I mean, that's out there. I mean, they got plenty of documents that's what they would like to do. A lot of them. Now, I don't know how many politicians go along with that. I don't know how deep it goes. I don't know if anybody actually knows how deep it goes. But I was really meant there. You go around. To me, living like a Russian used to live, or maybe still does, I don't know how they live now, where basically you had to get permission to where you work and what you had, and
that's good. Yeah,
that's death to me.
Yeah. Well, don't forget they've got 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition.
All that was on my notes. I was reading down the list a while ago.
And that's why they got it.
And it's pretty much known now that they got it for us. They got it to stop us.
Because they can't use it in a war because they bought hollow points.
Right, and you can't do that. Now, back to something else that plays into. You were saying a lot of the police and stuff wouldn't participate in this. But if they didn't have a lot of people that would participate in this, do you think they would have bought all those rounds? They already didn't have a plan and were pretty sure that they could do it?
I think what they're...
Or do you think they're overestimating themselves?
I don't know if they're overestimating themselves or if they're planning on using UN troops. But, you know, you got to remember the Chinese and the Russians, last week or week before last, volunteered to help them unarm the population.
Were you gone a while ago when I said that?
Huh?
Were you gone a while ago when I said that?
I probably was.
Okay, I was just saying. The Chinese have already said they'll help. They'll help confiscate our guns.
Well, that just helps us because we know who to shoot.
Yeah.
I shoot slant eyes.
Yeah, but the rest we don't know whether they're the good guy or bad guys. But the Chinese, we will.
Yeah.
So they're figuring they'll have a better chance of recouping their money we owe them whenever they invade us, there'll be less guns. That'd probably be the way to go.
Yeah, and that's another point that I was going to make. Why do you think they'll volunteer to do that? Because if they get rid of all of our guns, they can do whatever they want then.
Maybe they get a kind of deal. They'll get part of the guns that they take.
What would they do with them? They don't want any country armed.
They'll attack us with them.
They probably got enough of their own.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're pretty rich over there. They've got plenty of money to make guns.
They'll melt them down and make tanks.
Yeah. All right, and I already said the stupid stuff about outlawing schools because kids die there. That's just a bit. Oh, there was it Alex Jones? I'm pretty sure it was Alex Jones. Somebody called in and they started talking about. And I think there's a petition for that out now to make all government facilities and the White House gun-free.
Yeah,
it would have to be safe then, right? Because there won't be any guns.
Yeah, there's a petition for that.
Just as smart as what they're pulling on us.
Yep. And there's also a petition to deport, what was that guy? Piers
Morgan. That's Morgan. Yeah, you must have been gone too. I mentioned that a while ago. And Dianne Feinstein.
Yep.
Petition to try her for treason.
Well, if you really want to know the truth of the matter, they need to try them all for treason.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm not a legal whiz here, but I don't think they can try her for treason. Because, you know, she's a lawmaker, right? So the lawmakers have the ability to work up things to amend the Constitution. Of course, you know, it's supposed to go to a vote and all that, but if they have the right to do that, then how can you try them for treason for talking about it?
She's not trying to amend the Constitution, then. She's trying to pass a law that's, I mean,
that's true. That's why I said I'm not no legal.
The thing that's, you know, the Supreme Court's already ruled in. Hang on, I'll tell you when it was.
I know where you're going. Go for it.
As soon as I find my phone. Here, I got it on this. I'll give you the law and the year.
Was it in the 70s? Or was it earlier than that?
No, it was in the late 1800s.
Well, maybe I don't know what you're getting. I'll find out in a minute. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll find it. Go ahead and...
Okay. Mike, have you come up with anything interesting lately with your research and... I know more videos out, right? Didn't I see another video or two out there?
Yeah, I can't remember when the last time, what I've done since the last time we talked. But no, nothing that I'm ready to present.
All right. Well, I will.
I'm working on a couple of different things.
I will remind people we got livefreenews.com, which is just starting out. Not a whole bunch of stuff there, but you know that's where we put our show notes and stuff most of the time, not all the time. My site is bestbugoutbadcontent.com. There's a lot of information on being prepared, survival stuff. I don't put the political stuff down there too much. There's a few things there. I kind of leave that one to just going and getting your be prepared for your emergencies and stuff, whether it be ice storms or hurricanes or floods or whatever. And worse, things might get bad one of these days. And I hope we never get a comment saying, ha, told you that the end of the world wasn't coming last week. Because we never said it was.
Yeah, right.
In fact, I think we discussed that that was a bunch of bullshit, and that their own thing said that was just the end of the calendar, that it just started all over again. All right, and okay. I'm trying to find someplace else to go here real quick. Oh, I was doing, I was experimenting with, how should we say this? Hillbilly cough medicine? Okay.
Right.
Well, I was trying to figure out the next step because, I always intended, once I figured out how to do it, was to go the next step and make alcohol for fuel. Of course, it's not very feasible or economical to make alcohol for fuel because it costs like $6 to $8 a gallon. The way I'm doing it now. It's pretty easy to get about 140 proof, 100 to 140. A little harder to get it higher than that. If you did get it higher than that, it drops off pretty quickly while you're running it. But you can redistill it a couple of times and get it to about 190, 193. Now you're coming into fuel, right? But if you want to put it in car and mix it with gas, you're going to need something like Zeolite 3A. Once you get it to the 193 or so, something in that range, and you add that to your fuel, to your alcohol and warm it up. I don't know all the specifics about it yet because I haven't done it, so I can't speak of it in detail. But at 190 below, 193 below proof, it's not going to mix with your gas. It's going to separate. So you got to get it higher to like above 195 or 195 and above, and that zeolite will do that. And then it will mix with your gas readily. It won't separate. But at lower proofs, I think you could probably run it just to run a generator, not real low proofs, and I don't know where the line is where it stops, but I bet you 160 and 180 proof, you could run a generator or something off of it, as long as you're not mixing other fuels with it. So that's going to be part of my next project, is to go that far with it. And but at $6-8, it would only be a preppers type deal, and that would be only if you had resources, plenty of resources to make it. You'd have to have the substances to make it with. For maybe you can make enough to run a tiller to till up your garden. If you don't live too far from town, maybe you can make enough to run into town or something. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not one of the things anybody might want to concentrate on unless they got plenty of resources to do that. It is interesting. It is fun. I would suggest you know how to do it.
Can you get in trouble for making that?
Yes.
As long as you're not selling it or something?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
But you can get a permit to make the fuel alcohol.
Okay.
Up to about 10,000 gallons a year, or whatever the number is. Don't hold me to that because I don't remember. But you can get a permit, and I don't even remember how much the permit is.
It's probably every state's different.
Yeah, it could be different for every state. But I would suggest you not do that and run moonshine. Because we'll come check you every once in a while.
I don't drink moonshine, so
probably to the general public out here that might,
Yeah.
If you want to do it, and you want to do it legal, and you want to make alcohol for running your engines, don't have any moonshine sitting around because it is illegal. And then it's not a moonshine still. I mean, it's not alcohol still. It's a moonshine still, and you will go to jail. Right.
Okay, I found that that's Marbury versus Madison, 1803. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And if you go to Google, Scholar, it's scholar.google.com, and look for legal, and you can put in Marbury versus Madison, and you'll find all kinds of stuff on there about that, the legal documents on it.
I wonder if we ought to put that in the show notes. That might be interesting for people to look at. Okay. I heard that some of the new guns are having RFID chips in them. So if you got a new gun, for anybody listening, tear it down, check it out, see if it does. I'm going to take mine apart probably tomorrow and check both of the newer ones. Let's see. There was something else. Oh, God, I forgot what it was. All right. I can't think of what the other one was.
And what's the purpose of the RFID chip?
I don't know, but I don't want one in my gun.
Well, because they got to be within range to detect it.
But I wouldn't doubt that.
Well, that's the point. You can't carry it into someplace they can detect it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that they could drive by in a police car and be within range.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either.
I wouldn't doubt that they could drive by your house and be within range.
Did you see what? Hey, did you see one of the new tax proposals coming up this year? Is mileage tax.
I hadn't heard that, but recently. But I heard that. I've heard different stories about it the last few years coming up here and there.
It was on Fox News this morning that there's already a bunch of it's a bill they're trying to they're getting ready for this next year. I don't know what they're talking about charging per mile, but once they get it in,
well, they need to stop talking about charging any new taxes on cars and stuff until they stop stealing the money from the account.
Yeah.
Something like that happened. I don't know what tax it was, or maybe it was just raising the gas tax. But I think enough people got a hold of them to say, look, until you stop talking about stealing it. I mean, until you stop stealing it from the account, you need to stop talking about raising the tax and saying we don't have any money, because they're stealing most of it anyway. So that kind of got shut down, at least for temporary.
Well, I mean, the sad thing is, like this big disaster going on, where they're trying to get this tax problem resolved, the physical cliff, they call it.
Yeah, the scam.
And the money they're talking about raising, that Obama's, the level he's wanting to go up to, all that money's only going to run the government for 8 days.
I know. Ridiculous.
And we're not going to be any better off if they do pass anything. It's not going to help us. I mean,
but you know how many people are out there saying, "Yeah, get the rich. That'll help us." It won't help a freaking bit. The government will wipe that out, and it's not even going to do 8 days, because all the new spending they want to do, and all this crap they want to spend money on, it'll wipe it out in probably half an hour.
Yeah.
It's just scam. They're playing games up there.
Yep, they're in trouble. Which means we're in trouble.
And our Republicans ain't doing shit about it. They're going
to cave. I mean, they're going to
cave because they're more worried about getting reelected than they are about frickin' doing what's right. And they would have a better chance of getting elected again if they would do what was right.
Well, I was reading an article the other day. It was I saw it on Drudge, and it was about a congressman in Illinois just a few years ago, and he had helped bring some big factory to the state, and so he was going around, on his campaign, going door to door, and looking for kudos for his for his pork that he had brought to the state, and he went to one house and he was bragging about it. And the guy said, "Yes, thank you, Congressman, for doing that." But he said, "I just can't vote for you." And the congressman said, "What do you mean you can't vote for him?" He said, "No." He said, "I can't vote for you because of your stand on the This was during the assault rifle ban."
Right.
And he said, I can't vote for you because you voted for the assault rifle ban. And sure enough, that guy lost. And so it was sort of a warning to the politicians, because not only did he lose, but a lot of those people got voted out. So that's kind of a little prelude to what they may be facing.
Well, I think it's going to be a harder fight this time.
Oh, I do too. And for one thing, Feinstein will never get voted out.
No, she's in a pretty safe area.
Yeah, she could do anything that's communist, because that's all that's out there in Berkeley.
Well, that's a lot of what's up there in D.C.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a communist caucus now.
And I just can't understand how so many people could vote for these Democrats. Do they just not understand? Are they really that brain dead? And some of the ones I talk to, I know personally, they don't seem to be that stupid. And I don't. One specifically, I don't understand, because he loves guns, he loves hunting, he believes in guns. He's a hard worker. How could you even consider it? Do you not really see that this is, for lack of a better term right now, it's going more communist? Maybe you want to say socialist, maybe say communist. There's a couple other ways to describe it. I don't know which one you want to put in there. All of them are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you ever seen them go on the street and ask people questions? They don't even know who the vice president is.
Oh, yeah, well.
I mean, come on. How many people were you that vote really know much about? What percentage do you think?
I saw them asking people about the fiscal cliff, and they were trying to figure out what state it was in.
Well, there's
my wife asked me what the fiscal cliff was tonight. We were driving home. Yes, and I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It's just a bunch of crap. And then they keep all they want to do is spend more money, and the fiscal cliff is just a smokescreen.
Well, I think more and more
it's
people
just a term.
I think more and more people are waking up. But how long is it going to take for enough people to wake up? And once they do wake up,
well, the faster,
do something.
Yeah, the faster they wake up, the faster the globalists are going to move.
Well, I refuse to believe that we can't stop this before people start dying. But it may be what it comes to. I hope not. But I can't just sit back and not do anything. So you got to keep stroking.
I told my son, I said, you got to understand, he's only 9, but I said, they take my money and they go kill people. So basically I'm a paid assassin. Yeah. I mean, I have no say in who they kill. They can randomly kill people in any country. It's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of people calling Obama a war criminal.
No, he's not one. No.
Yeah, well, he's actually authorizing assassinations of American citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And this Benghazi thing over there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole lot to that. I mean, you know that
I was saying that right from the beginning. There's a whole lot to it.
That ambassador that was killed over there.
He was running guns.
He was running guns. He was involved in giving the Al Qaeda over there 10,000 missiles.
Yeah, and I think he was trying to get him back, and the government wanted him dead.
Well, I don't know if he was trying to get him back, but I think he wasn't going to keep his mouth shut about it.
Well, that could be too, but they want him dead, and they were willing to kill all those people in that building.
But I tell you what,
just to keep it hushed.
Just mark my word, you're going to see a civilian plane, possibly here in the States, shot down by missile. Just mark my word.
I wouldn't doubt that a bit. That's kind of been in the back of my head thinking about all those missiles.
Yep.
And
shot down is it some kind of terrorist threat?
Yeah, terrorist attack.
Yeah, it'll give them another means to put the TSA on the street and searching and all that other stuff. That's what they want to do.
Now, whether they actually...
And the reason I say that is because if you go back to the original papers on the Homeland Security, which they the plan was to have a security force on the street. And so they're going to get their way.
And I know that nobody's going to listen to this show that is not like-minded, but if you don't understand how much danger you will be in when they take the guns from us, you just, man, are you going to be in for a big surprise? Because there is no way the cops can protect you. They'll be there to investigate what happened to you.
They've actually ruled in court that they don't have to protect, that they don't have to.
Yeah, but most people still think they're there to protect you. They can't protect you. They can't be everywhere all the time.
No.
Even Japan had, and I don't know how many, what the numbers are, but they had just outrageous amounts of policemen around. All right? You couldn't walk from corner to corner on a block without seeing a couple of police. But that doesn't even save them. Because if I wanted you dead, I could find a way to kill you, whether it be with a gun or be with a knife or whatever. I could go around the corner from a cop, do it, and be gone. And by the time he gets there, he can't help you. You're dead.
Right.
They can't be there side by side with you all the time. And if you can't protect yourself, anybody can walk into your house anytime and steal anything they want to because they'll have the guns.
Yep.
And if you think getting rid of guns is going to stop murder, you're sadly mistaken. If that kid would have wanted those kids dead, he could have got a gun. He could have stole a big truck, dump truck or something, and just drove it right through that building and probably done just as much damage, if not more.
Yeah.
No, it is not hard to build a bomb. There's plenty of stuff out there that you can do with. You can throw a Molotov cocktail through a room and kill a whole bunch of people real quick. Well, maybe not real quick, but it'll kill them. It will still happen. Okay.
You make too much sense.
Yeah, that's part of my problem. That's why they hate me out there in D.C. I don't know if they know who I am in there, but I bet I'm on somebody's list up there.
Yeah, you probably are.
And if I am, that means I'm doing some good. Put me on every freaking list you want to. I don't care. All right. Anybody got anything else to add tonight?
Nope.
No.
All right. So I'm going to check into a little bit on this 10th Amendment Center.com and probably be calling you and talking to you some more about this Al, Mike.
Okay.
Do y'all have any ideas about any of this? Send me an email, give me a call. You know how to get in touch with me. We've been on a little over an hour. This is Politics and Prepper podcast. 10 o'clock Central Time, Saturday nights. Stop by. You get us on iTunes. Stop by my bestbugoutbagcontent.com. Hang around here for a while. Check it out. Let me know what you think. We will see you next week. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
It won't end again. It will not end again. Oh, well, we could just sit here and visit. Or we could just go on and get off the Skype.
You go over an hour, it doesn't end.
Yeah, I guess they like our show so much they won't stop it. God, I hate when that happens. I was going to sit here and see if y'all wanted to visit a little bit, but I really don't want to just sit and visit on the show because you can't. You got to be careful what you say, the words you use. All right. Well, I'm just going to end the Skype, and I'm going to send a message that the show won't end, and then maybe they'll get it shut down. All right. We'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.
Bye.